can make it. Hey, Carl. I feel like CJ.
All right, I'd like to call the February 12th, 2019 Macon County Board of Commissioners meeting to order, and I would like to welcome all of you in attendance. I know it's sort of a rainy night, but I appreciate all of y'all making the effort to come speak before us as we take care of the business based upon Macon County government today, or tonight. I'm going to say something right now that I normally don't say as chairman of this board, but I feel like it's impotent upon me to make the statement that we have a very, very busy and packed agenda tonight. So if somebody gets to speaking a little too long, whether it be a commissioner or someone in the public, I might, if I feel like we're not going anywhere with it, move us right along so that we can take care of our business without having to adjourn and reconvene. So again, I'll be polite about it. So I just want to give you all a forewarning, but hopefully we won't come to that. So with that being said, I'll be quiet and try and move us on through this agenda. Any announcements? Mr. Manager?
No, sir.
And well, so I'm just going to read a quick letter that I received. Macon County Commissioners, on behalf of the Western North Carolina Veterans Council, thank you for your donation and support of the Welcome Home Dinner for the 210th National Guard Unit. Your support of our local military is greatly appreciated. The dinner is just a small way to give back to our service members. Sincerely, the Western North Carolina Veterans Council.
Mr. Chairman, real quickly, on March 30th, if you have your calendars, we'll be donating about 4.5 miles of the Warrior Road to Colonel Tom McNish.
Date again, please.
That's March 30th. It'll be in the early afternoon, probably 1:30, 2 o'clock. And that's following, by the way, that is also the day we recognize all Vietnam veterans, such as Mr. Shields during that same day. So Colonel McNish, of course, was former prisoner of war, former Assistant Attorney General to the United States, Surgeon General. And so it'll be a big day, and we sure want to make that announcement early, and you'll be hearing more about that.
Sounds good. All right, with that being said, I will ask that we all rise and observe a moment of silence. I'll ask Commissioner Shields to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We do not have a public hearing scheduled for tonight, but we do have several people signed up for our public comment period. First up is Debbie Duke. Welcome. Hello, Debbie.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I come before you today because when you set the truth free, it roars like a mighty lion. So I won't take up much of your time, but I do have the stats from Harvard, Yale, and Berkeley on 5G electromagnetic radiation safety, along with detailed information, PowerPoints, and links to anything you need to know about the millimeter wave and how it affects the human cell, the genome, how it's going to affect our skin, how it's going to increase bacteria in our community that will be unable to be treated by antibiotics. Thank you, sir. I left 2 copies.
All right. Thank
Who
you.
do I hand them
Why don't
to?
you just set them up here for me?
Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure.
James Birch. James, Waste Management Recycling.
Good evening, Commissioners. I won't speak too long. I just wanted impress how important waste management and recycling is. It couldn't be nothing more important. One of the most important things anywhere. And it wouldn't be long if we went without it 2 or 3 days, we'd be in trouble because it's a constant where it has to be done. But anyway, I was just wanting to bring up some things that I hope you all look at and you can discuss later on between us. One of them is something that I know when I first started on years ago with waste management and recycling, I was more or less promised longevity, like a raise if you know, every so often if you're with them, which never materialized. And I think that's unfair to the people that's willing to stay with the program, because it's a constant revolving door of people leaving. Nobody hardly stays with the program, and there's different reasons for that. And the ones who stay with this program feel that they're not a part of the regular county employees. One reason being part-time, but it's not a seasonal job. I mean, as far as what's done, it's only part-time workers, but it's not a seasonal job where you'd have like a recreation, like a swimming pool or something like that, where you close it down part of the year. This has something that has to go on constantly, and to have a living wage, what they call it, instead of, you know, cost of living wage, a living wage, which I'm going on probably 14 years now. I've really not had no decent raise or no raise at all hardly during those years, and then also, if you could look at it, it's getting more hours. It wouldn't have to be a full 40, or maybe not even a 32 hours, but at least more hours. And we have people that's hard on called floaters, and they come and go a revolving door, yet they knock the ones out that's been there for years from getting more hours. And I've never understood this program from the very beginning, the way it's set up. I never have, because I don't know of anywhere else in the United States now, even Walmart and the other places, they're paying pretty good wages now, a living wage. But anyway, and you can go over some of the things I brought up.
Thank you, James.
All right,
Thank
thank you,
Which
James.
side
Thank
are
you,
you
James.
Which side are you working at now?
I was at Holly Springs, but I'm at Carson now.
Okay. Because, I mean, I've run into him several times
And
at Holly Springs, and he, along with everyone else that I've interfaced with at our facility, does a fantastic job.
And we another thing I was going to mention too, we had one guy went out not too long ago. He was one of the longest persons. He'd been with them 18 years, and I think he was making like $7.80 an hour is all he was making when he left. I mean, it's humiliating in a way, and it's.
Have you sat down and discussed it with Chris Stahl, James?
Me and him had some, yeah.
It's something we need to seriously look at, and I've talked
And
to Chris about it.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's shameful
Thanks.
how the program is set up.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, James.
Agree?
All right, Jacob Ainsworth, Macon County Nuisance Ordinance Exemption. Welcome, Jacob.
Thank you very much. Thank you for welcoming me. I'm going to segue real quick off of what Mr. James said. From what I understand, we've got one of the best recycling programs in the state. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me. Thank you for your time and consideration. The Macon County Nuisance Ordinance, and I don't know if this is the one off of Google, the first one that came up. It was in 15. I reckon that y'all looked at it, and I guess Derek signed off on it. And there was a law that is in here, 160.06, under B. Number 1, the use of horns or signaling devices in a manner such that loud, unnecessary, and disturbing noise as defined herein is produced from the same. That was noted under B as being unlawful and declared to be a nuisance in violation of this ordinance. There are some exemptions under 160.07, and I'm here before you this evening to ask for an exemption for a steam whistle that I have. I'd like to blow the steam whistle at 12 noon high every day, except on Good Friday, Easter Sunday, and Christmas Day. It would be on the same time every day. We're all on the same time now these days, and everybody I've talked to in the community is excited as I am about it, and I'm extremely excited about it. And the old timers really think that it'd be a wonderful thing. I've heard some wonderful stories from some Macon County folks, and they just were excited to hear about this. So with that said, I don't know the process. I don't know, if y'all have to vote on such a thing or whatnot, but it's not going to be anything that would be excessive. It would be non-excessive. It would be something that I would be overseeing, and I think it would be a real good thing.
Where's your steam whistle located
My steam whistle's located at my place of employment,
Where's that at?
Shaw.
Shaw.
Yes, sir.
That's inside the city limits, right?
Yes, sir. And from what I understand, that old steam whistle was taken off the Tallulah Railroad train, and the old mica mine was over there. And you can pick up the railroad track all the way down through Raven Gap, all the way down to Toccoa. I've heard some good stories from some interesting folks of how their grandmama used to go get their granddaddy's paycheck at Friday at 12 o'clock when they heard that whistle before he got it. But anyway,
Have you been to the town?
no, sir, I haven't.
I think
Jack, does our ordinance cover the city, inside the city limits? It
I
don't,
don't
does
think
it?
it does.
No, we don't
I
have
need to
nothing
go back
to do
and
with
look
that.
at it, but I
Okay,
don't
well,
believe
good. Well, this is a good starting place.
Yeah.
So can y'all point me in the right direction?
You need to go to the town board of
Frank,
aldermen.
They have the
Yep.
ordinance here. that
Yeah,
you're gonna need.
they've got an ordinance that you'll need to look at as well.
Okay.
The first Monday, 6 p.m.
First Monday, 6 p.m. We're at Town Hall. All right. Well, at least I've run it by y'all, and y'all know what my plan is.
Good luck on that.
Thank you.
I've been wanting to hear it sing.
Blow.
Yeah, I know.
Blow, it'll blow.
Is that the same whistle that's been around down there? Or where do we have one of those? It used to blow.
I'm gonna sit in and listen to the rest.
Is that, who owns this whistle? Do you own it?
I don't own it.
Because it used to blow.
Yeah,
Still can.
Grant brought it here. Grant Ziggraff brought the whistle here.
Did he come off the old train?
Yep.
Okay. Well, old Ernie Payton told me that. I take sometimes Ernie stuff with a grain of salt.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it blow.
Confess to that.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you.
All right, Norrell Kirkland, Dog Park runoff. Welcome, Norrell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have eminent people like Sally and Warren. It would be very exciting to stay and hear everything, but the dog park is scheduled on the agenda for the very last item. Would you like me to wait until? it comes
You
up
can
or-
come on. Yeah, you can come on.
Well, thank you for allowing me to come, and I can wish all of you a new year, even though it's February. And I do want to take a moment and express my severe unhappiness that we lost David Waters. He was a major asset to the community and did good wherever he went. The obvious solution to the dog park runoff is to relocate it entirely. And the area that is behind the current SEC original building, I think it's called the Grove Center, you go up a gravel road and there's a very large area where you can play Frisbee. That would make a marvelous dog park. It would be level and a couple of 100 feet above the stream, so runoff would not be a situation. And eventually, of course, when that huge dirt pile is moved and construction continues on the other buildings, that might be a possibility. But immediately, anybody who owns a dog and has children is going to say, whoa, that's separating us from the kiddie park. So it would seem to me the most reasonable thing would be to keep the dog park in the general vicinity of where it is, but move it over more toward the swamp area and further away from the river. That's just basically a parking lot now, so that would be simple to do. And then with the proper graveling and dirt fill, sand, you might be able to make a sufficient drainage so the problem going into the stream would be eliminated.
Norrell, just for your reference, in case you don't want to hang out for the entire meeting, the Recreation Committee that we have appointed has been studying this issue. The dog park is going to have to be moved from the current location for various reasons. And they have been studying different locations, and we're going to be receiving their recommendation of a new location tonight. And then it'll be up to us to decide if we want to pursue that location or not. That's what we're expecting later in the meeting.
Well, why don't we leave it that you'll give me a call if I could contribute anything further, but it sounds like the problem is going to be solved.
Yeah, we're starting tonight.
Well done.
A solution, anyway.
Thank you, Norrell.
Thank you, Norrell.
Thank you.
Sally, I'm gonna move you to reports on that since you gave me a little bit earlier. Anybody else, anyone else would like to address us for public comment? Going once, going twice, everybody good?
What do I need to do to talk to the commissioners in private?
Just email us or
Is that
call us,
something that
yeah.
I mean, how does that work?
Just email us, probably the best way, and set up a time. We'll be happy to meet with you.
Can I get a list of your email addresses?
It's on the website.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I'll copy all of them.
All right.
Or just see Derek and he can cook you.
No, I tried to see Derek, I couldn't get in to see him 2 times.
Yeah, that was last week while we were
He was preparing
budget together.
the next day.
Yeah, email us, the best way to
I
start
will.
it. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
good, thank you. Yeah. All right, we'll move on from public comment. Any changes or additions to the agenda? Mr. Manager, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Derek.
I'll work my way around.
Okay. Starting, Mr. Chairman, as you had emailed me, we will be adding to 9B a report on blue zones. Again, that will
Okay,
be.
let's put that as 9C if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'm gonna be adding a 9B.
Okay. We'll put that at 9C.
Okay.
Then, if moving right along under old business, we'll have item number 10C. Will be an update on the courthouse security project.
What number is that? I'm sorry.
Under old business will be item number 10C.
Okay.
Then we'll have a number 10D, the Macon Middle School resolution exempting architectural services. And then we will be discussing a contract with Novus Architecture following passage of that resolution.
Okay.
Then we will, moving right along to new business. Item number 11C1 will be discussion of a county contribution to the Nikwasi Initiative. And our EDC director, Mr. Tommy Jenkins, will be handling that. If we could add under new business, item number 11H. And that will be a request, that will be a recommendation regarding the request for proposals for audit services. And we'll be discussing a motion to approve the audit contract. Under your consent agenda, I add an item number 12G. And that is the minutes of the February 7th, 2019 meeting, which have been included here in your agenda packet and would not be possible without Lindsay, who has been helping us in Mike's absence. So I would like to thank her and Lori, the finance office, for the assistance they've
Thank you,
given
Lindsay.
us. Under appointments, add an item number 13C. We'll be discussing the appointments for the Board of Equalization and Review. And an item number 13D, we'll be discussing ETJ appointment for the town of Franklin.
And I understand there is reason for a closed session tonight.
There is reason for a closed session to preserve the attorney-client privilege.
Commissioner Shields? Yeah, Commissioner Bell?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I do want to give a real quick update on the TDC of what was approved for Macon County as far as the DOT construction going forward. You
Let's
just
put that
in.
as 9D.
Yeah, it won't take long.
Okay. I would like to add 9B, Mayor Patrick Taylor, Highway 64 between Highlands and Franklin.
Is that on, okay, that's on reports.
Under reports, yep. 9B, I have Sally Taylor as 9C, and I have Commissioner Bill under 9D. Commissioner Gillespie? No. Commissioner Hagman? Lori? No. Chester? No. Odette, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Supposed to be approved as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving right on to item 9A, reports and presentations. Michelle Brooks and Future Business Leaders of America to discuss Alzheimer's Awareness Community Service Project and proclamation letter declaring February 22nd, Alzheimer's Awareness Day in Franklin, North Carolina. Welcome.
Well, I'm Michelle Brooks, and this is just part of my group, and we appreciate y'all giving us a little bit of your time. And we're going to talk tonight about our community service project. You know, we always do a big one, and so this year is no exception. And I'm going to let them do the majority of the talking because I do too much talking all day. So I can introduce them. This is Evan Klatt, Sky Crowd. Summer Passmore is my co-advisor now, Maggie Baldwin, and Mary Harper. And then Shannon, who's not up here with us, he always helps me out too. He's in the professional division and he does a lot of work with us, and we appreciate him. So I'll let them get started so we can save time.
Hello everyone, my name is Maggie Baldwin and I'm the president of our local chapter for FBLA at Franklin High School. And today I would like to talk to you a little bit about our community service project this year. And this is an Alzheimer's awareness concert put on by Jay Allen, and he is a country musician out of Nashville, and his mother has Alzheimer's, so it's very important to him. He pulled his mom up on the stage and sang a song. A person in the crowd videotaped it, and the video went viral on Facebook and has now been seen over 125 million times. So we have the pleasure, thank you, we have the pleasure of having him at the Smoky Mountain Center for the Performing Arts. Here's our flyer that you might have seen around town. And the concert is February 22nd at 7:30. Our tickets are $10 for students, $20 for adults, and then $40 for the VIP tickets, which are first and second row. You get a backstage pass to go meet Jay Allen, and also one of our t-shirts. These t-shirts were designed by Miss Michelle Brooks. This is the back, and we wore them at a purple out at school, where all the kids at our school wore purple for their support. We also do things such as volunteering at the senior center every Wednesday, and we handed out brochures at the Christmas parade. So we do a lot, and around town we have had businesses support our cause. So I'm going to pass it over to Mary, but thank you so much for letting me speak to you guys tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie.
Hello everybody, I'm Mary Harper. I'm the Secretary for Future Business Leaders of America. I'm here to talk to you guys today to encourage you to issue a proclamation declaring February 22nd of 2019 as an Alzheimer's Awareness Day for Macon County. By taking this action, you will help the Future Business Leaders of America, FBLA, bring greater awareness to Alzheimer's, the sixth leading cause of death in the United States. In 2018, an estimated 5.7 million Americans of all ages are living with this disease. We encourage you to recognize the February 22nd, 19 as Alzheimer's Awareness Day in Macon County. Your support will raise awareness among Macon County residents about Alzheimer's. And now I'll turn it to Evan Klatt to talk to you about the proclamations.
Hi, I'm Evan Klatt. Proclamation is whereas Macon County celebrates Alzheimer's Awareness Day to bring greater awareness to Alzheimer's, and whereas Alzheimer's is the sixth leading cause of death in the United States, and whereas half of all adults over 85 have Alzheimer's, and whereas more women have Alzheimer's than men, and whereas symptoms of the disease may develop as early as age 30, and whereas Macon County has joined with the Future Business Leaders of America in an effort to help save lives in Macon County, and whereas education and increased awareness can help inform the public of local resources available, and whereas the Alzheimer's Awareness Concert held on February 22nd, 2019 will help bring greater awareness to the disease and sharing of local resources, and now therefore I do hereby proclaim February 22nd, 2019 to be Alzheimer's Awareness Day in Macon County and encourage all individuals to work together to promote awareness and understanding of Alzheimer's.
Thank you. Good job. Can I get a motion to approve, Sam?
I make a motion to approve it as presented.
And a second by Commissioner Shields. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Mike, did you get a photo?
Not a bit. Let me sign this real quick and we'll,
Ms. Brooks, while they're taking the picture, there's a little bit of history with this group also. You did colon cancer for many years. Won't you tell them about, some of them may not realize what y'all have done for many years.
Yeah.
Colon cancer.
Yeah, this is our third concert that we've done for different awareness. You know Lynn, my sister, had stage 3 colon cancer. And so we did 2 colon cancer awareness concerts with Wade Hayes, which he is a stage 4 colon cancer survivor. And I don't know if you know the statistics on that, 1 in 12, only 1 in 12 survived with stage 4. And so we did that. With those concerts, we raised around $17,000 each time. This time we're around, I think, $13,000 right now that we've raised for Alzheimer's. And so we're going to try to donate some of that locally. We have overhead we have to meet first, and then we're going to donate some of it locally. And then the rest of it we're going to use to help get these kids to nationals, because we know we're going to make it there. So,
that's great.
Good deal.
yeah.
Michelle, can you give them a little information of why we actually chose this year to your role?
She wants me to cry. But anyway, my dad was diagnosed a year ago.
Good.
You're welcome.
Well, I just signed that proclamation. You mentioned something about a picture. I was busy signing. Do you want us to stand and?
Yeah, here to stand.
Yeah, not a bit.
I'm all teary-eyed.
Thank you, Russ.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Good job, good job.
Great presentation.
Jacob. Jacob.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Here you go.
Mr. Bill, Sheila Jenkins likes you a lot.
Who?
Sheila?
Sheila Jenkins.
You know
Quite a bit of her.
I'll put some signature
Oh,
pages on
yeah.
and email you back, but I'll just use this for it. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that.
Thank y'all again.
Going to Nashville, Tennessee?
No, well, Jay's coming here, but Nashville is in San Antonio.
It's Dennis Holland's granddaughter right there. You know that? Maggie. Oh, yeah. Mr. Betancourt? You know the mayor of Highlands?
Yep.
All right, moving right along. Item 9B, Mayor Patrick Taylor. He's going to discuss with us. Go ahead, Patrick.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to speak. I'm actually here in support of my wife, who's going to do a Blue Zone report next. But there's kind of a current update that I informed Commissioner Tate. I can do very quickly, and I understand long agenda, so let me talk fast. Commissioner Bill and I serve on the Transportation Advisory Committee of the Southwestern Commission. We've realized there's been a problem for quite some time between here and Highlands, and that is tractor-trailer trucks on the Gorge Road. And tonight we've had a tractor-trailer truck go right past the turnaround, and it's in Buck Creek. And as we were coming down Buck Creek Road, there's a huge crane there. The traffic, of course, has been stopped. They'll be working on it tonight. Let me just update. I've taken this on as kind of the project as the Highlands mayor, and I've briefed the Franklin Town Board, and I'm glad to brief you on what we've done. First of all, I met with Highway Patrolman Sergeant Deals, who's in charge of all of the regulations on trucking in Western Carolina, and he informed us that we needed to simplify the law on the Gorge Road. Right now, if you go by those signs, it says 4 axles or whatever, so many thousand pounds, and so forth. Truckers can't read that as they're going by. And he's encouraged a change in the ordinances and the laws to where it says no tractor trailer trucks, period. And he's assured me that they can define what a tractor trailer truck is very clearly, and it would help them with their enforcement. So that's one dimension of this problem. Also met with Division 14 engineer Brian Birch and his staff. They came to Highlands just week after last, and we had a good meeting. His traffic engineers and ordinance people were there, and they agreed that those signs need to be simplified. So the signs will be changed in the next few months. And also what they're doing, and I'd been advocating this, the signs will also be illuminated and radar activated. So when a large tractor trailer rig starts to approach that turnaround, there'll be flashing lights coming on and directing that tractor trailer truck to go into that turnaround, where there'll be instructions on where they're supposed to go and not to go on that Gorge Road. Same thing will be done on the Highlands side too. We will have our signs that will activate and try to direct those trucks to NC 106 to avoid going down that road, because it's just too critical of an artery between Highlands and Franklin's to have these disruptions, and it is dangerous to the motoring public. So that's where we stand. There will be some changes made in the coming months with DOT. And also the law enforcement people, Sergeant Deal has says their change in getting the truck companies to start avoiding that area and rerouting, that will be a longer process. They're building up a case and enforcement, and it will take some time. It won't be solved overnight, but we are working on that critical problem. So just wanted to give you a quick update on where we are on that.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor.
Okay.
I appreciate your work and efforts on this. I'd also like to state that Mayor Taylor and I we met with both Representative Corbin and Senator Davis, and they were both in support of both of these initiatives. But again, we appreciate your effort. And this probably wouldn't be happening if you weren't pushing this along. So you deserve full credit.
Thank you.
All right, item 9C, Miss Sally Taylor.
Well, and now you know who I am.
Ah.
So, thank you for this opportunity to
Sure.
speak and putting me on the agenda. It was my husband who saw the Blue Zones presentation a few years ago at the League of Municipalities meeting, came home and told me about it, and we both became very enthusiastic about the possibilities that it would afford our area, and I took it on for myself to launch this project. Blue zones traditionally are 5 areas in the world where people live measurably longer, healthier lives with less chronic diseases such as diabetes, Alzheimer's, heart disease, drug addiction. Scientists studied these areas and found that there are 9 common practices that create these areas. And these, I'm not going to go into the 9, and I forwarded some information. I don't know
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you've got that or if you've had time to look at it. And there is a wonderful website, and I'm going to be brief, so there's a lot more information. But some of these common practices include healthy plant-based diets, moderate exercise, and various modes of social connectivity. And this is nothing new, but studies show that permanent changes to the environment and community buy-in to healthier choices increase measurable or make measurable increases in healthier, longer, happier lives. So Dan Butner, who's associated with the National Geographic, took this information. He and his brother Tony are from Minnesota. They started a business called Blue Zones, and they use this information to develop tools and programs to make communities blue zones, communities or regions. There are now at least 42 communities in 9 states that are moving towards blue zones communities. Fort Worth is one and Naples is one. And one of the 5 original Blue Zones areas is Loma Linda, California. The rest of them are overseas. The Blue Zones project uses the Gallup Healthway Wellbeing Index to measure improvement. The only catch to that is they need a population of at least 25,000 people. So just focusing on Highlands or Franklin is not quite enough. So we're targeting all of Jackson and Macon counties, which gives us about 78,000 people in the community. And a community can expect to see changes such as decreased healthcare cost, increased productivity, a boost in economic vitality, and the ability to attract grants. I have so far approached Highlands Town Board, Cashers, leadership team, Silva Town Board, and the Franklin Town Board. And all of these groups have given an enthusiastic yes that they are definitely interested. And I wasn't asking for any kind of official motion on that, but just an open mind. We have phase 1, which is a presentation, a Blue Zones presentation, which is given by Tony Butner. I believe it's the one that my husband saw. It promises to be very informative and inspirational. I have raised the money for that, and the presentation is June 10th at 6 p.m. at the PAC, and hope to have around 200 community leaders, key stakeholders, and interested individuals who would like to see this happen. And that's it in a nutshell. I'll be happy to answer any questions or guide you to the website.
So do you have your committee put together, Ms.
I
Taylor?
have a steering committee of 5 people right now. I'm seeking a person in Silva and maybe one more person from Franklin. But right now I have a core group of people.
So eventually you'll be a 501c3?
We have to, all right, that's a good question. We have to move funds through a 501c3, and right now I've talked with Robin Tyndall, who is the executive director of the Highlands Cashers Health Foundation, and they are showing extreme interest in the possibility of doing this, and we can run the funding through that 501c3.
The Sherman Rotary Club is another good place to run funds through if you ever get that.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks. Derek, will you make sure you forward all that to us, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For y'all's trip down the mountain. I guess you have to take a detour
We did. Yes.
on the way home? All right.
Well, the log truck sort of messed it up the other day, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Thank you, sir.
All right. Safe travels. Thank y'all. You're welcome to hang out. All right, item 9D, Commissioner Bill.
Real quickly, the final prioritization for the results from the rural planning organization that Mayor Taylor just talked about. This includes Cherokee, Clay, Graham, Jackson, Macon, and Swain counties. We won't go into how all the points work, but Mayor Taylor and I always get together and with input from the citizens and this board. So here's what we got. Last year, if you remember, we did real good. We got a lot of things. We got the intersection. Of course, we didn't have a whole lot to do with the roundabouts, but that was inside the city. But outside the city, from McDonald's to the fairgrounds, that has been funded, as has the bridge, the one-lane bridge there behind the new Ingalls. So that is underway, and that construction is scheduled. The rain has put a delay, and the Army Corps of Engineers has now signed off on that. That will probably start as soon as possible with the weather conditions. From White Horizon Road, if y'all know where I'm talking about, to Prentice Bridge Road, that has been approved for right-of-way. That section of the road. What did not get funded was from there to the Georgia line to improve that whole 441 north and south. So that did not get funded. We expected that, but it's supposed to come back up in 2025. So we'll see how that goes. What we did get funded in this go around was the construction sidewalk from East Main Street at Old Cat Creek Road and entire First Street in Highlands. that is funded, and that's on schedule to be completed in 2022. They may move that up because it was a small amount of money, but we keep asking Mayor Taylor and myself, all those from this county, for more maintenance money. The maintenance money used to be they've changed how they do that. We have over 2,300 and something miles of secondary roads, and still got a lot of gravel roads. So maintenance money is at a premium, and I think we'll be seeing more maintenance money and more single lane bridges. I think their goal is to get rid of. There's still a lot of single lane bridges in Macon County, so that's pretty much it. It's a lot of time and a lot of travel back and forth, but it's certainly worth it for our secondary roads, and so we'll keep working on that, Mr. Mayor. With me and Mr. Mayor, we'll keep working on that.
It's a lot of steps going up First Street in Highlands.
That's right.
All right, moving on to old business. Item 10A, approval of lease agreement between Macon County and SCC.
Gentlemen,
Mr. Chester
in
James.
the paperwork that was before you when you came in, there is a proposed lease to Macon County from the trustees of Southwestern Community College. This is for land that is behind the Southwestern Community College property out at the industrial park. As most of you probably know, the land behind that building has been utilized by Macon County Recreation for a number of years. The trustees for Southwestern Community College approached the county and requested that that property be leased. In other words, turned over possession to the county so that the county could basically maintain and be responsible for that property. I have prepared a proposed lease in consultation with the community college as well as its legal counsel, and it's a 20-year lease. It'll cost the county $200 a year, and basically maintenance obligation for a period, $200 period.
$10 a year.
It's $10 a year. But that will be payable once this is approved by both SEC's Board of Trustees, and this also has to go before the state Board of Community Colleges for approval before we can actually sign this lease. My understanding is that SEC's legal counsel or President One will be securing that approval. We do not anticipate any problems. The parcel of land basically puts within possession and control of the county all of the lands from the access road behind the SEC building to Cartuga J Creek. It's essentially what's being used and has been used for a number of years.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion to
Or,
approve.
excuse me,
Second.
it's the lease
It's
agreement.
just the
Sorry,
lease.
just the
Yep.
lease agreement. We've got a motion by Commissioner Bill, a second by Commissioner Gillespie. All in favor?
Okay.
Aye. Aye.
Thank
you, Chester. All right, item 10B, authorize county manager to execute contract amendment between Macon County and the North Carolina Office of State Budget and Management.
Thank you,
Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you'll recall, we've discussed this earlier. Representative Corbin actually was able to secure some funding for us at the state level to go towards the purchase of in-car cameras as well as body cameras for our sheriff's department. That would be it's $65,000 in total funds that would be provided to Macon County on a reimbursement basis. What you have in your agenda packet is an amended contract. Senator Davis in fiscal year 16-17 was able to secure us $100,000 that was applied toward the Robert C. Carpenter Building project. So basically what you're approving here tonight is an amendment to that agreement that will allow them to reimburse us for the $65,000 spent on in-car and body cameras for the Macon County Sheriff's Department.
We get a motion to approve the county manager to execute the contract amendment.
Make a motion be approved as
Motion
presented.
by Commissioner Shields.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Derek.
Yes, sir.
Item 9C, courthouse security update. Welcome, Sheriff Holland.
Thank you. And also with me tonight is Judge Coward. Walked right by him.
I looked right past him.
I guess I don't know exactly where to begin on this. This is a second part to a discussion that we had on last Thursday. Last Thursday, you asked us to go back and get some prices on some items, and so we've been able to do that. The first items that we had talked about was our metal detectors and our x-ray machine. Something that's changed with our metal detector is the fact that when we got the inspectors, the fire marshal and the building inspector involved, something that we didn't think about was the egress out of the building, and so it changed some things quite a bit because we had to make sure that we met those standards. So it was good that we had them involved, got them involved. But as you all know from Thursday, and I'll reiterate since Mr. Higdon wasn't here, this is following the almost 2 years ago when Judge Cowart made a request that we increase our security within our courthouse, and came and made a presentation to you all, and then you all directed me to form a committee. And as you recall from Thursday, that committee is apprised of every agency within this Macon County Courthouse. We actually had about 22 members of this committee, and if all of you have served on a committee, you know how difficult that can be to have 22 people on a committee. A lot of opinions, a lot of ideas. It's been great. We've had a great working relationship. I wish I could tell you how many times we met. I can't off the top of my head, but it was a bunch over the last 2 years. It was broke down into 6 different groups, subcommittees, and we've come back and made recommendations. The judge was at all of the meetings as well as I think I missed one of the meetings in total. But they've made recommendations, and so Thursday we talked to you all about those recommendations. And so we've come and we put a proposal. County manager, did you put a proposal together, a list of the numbers?
Yes, I've provided you, should be at each of your desks, a proposal. I've put broken down the cost between fiscal year 19 and fiscal year 20. What you'll see in the fiscal year 19 columns, the first two in fiscal year 19 will be operating costs that will be taken on in this fiscal year with the additional personnel, as well as the operating supplies increase to the courthouse security budget. The remaining items that you see there on the page are the capital items that are part of the actual physical components of this project. And we already had, if you'll recall, appropriated $55,881 in the fiscal year 19 budget to go toward the salary of 2 additional officers for half a year in the courthouse security budget. So that number is subtracted there at the bottom of the column, which gives you a grand total for this fiscal year. And again, that's counting project installation as well as the operating cost moving forward of $229,067. If you'll move over to the fiscal year 20 column, you'll notice all your capital expenditures are going to go away as they're one-time purchases, but you will carry forward with the addition of 6 officers, $373,432 a year personnel increase, and then an increase to the operating supplies in that budget by an estimated $10,000 a year in conversations with the sheriff. So total moving forward increase to courthouse security operations wise will be $383,432, and that is reflected down in the bottom of that fiscal year 20 column. I would like to bring to your attention the fact that the capital items in this project total up to an amount of $131,933, excuse me. $133,502.23. With that being said, the project with the cost of the material in this amount exceeds the required threshold for a formal bid statute, for formal bids. So with that being said, with the total amount of equipment purchased being $133,000, right there at it, $502.23, that is above the $90,000 requirement for an informal bid. So in other words, we'll have to formally bid this equipment at this level.
In this, to give you a little bit of information, Mr. Higdon, in a perfect world, we would love it to be one location that you enter into the courthouse. And the problem with doing that with this courthouse is we've determined that it would take so much money for us to have two locations, because you have the parking in the back, and then you also have parking on the second level, which is out by Peoples and out front. And so in order to try to save as much money as we could, we determined that it was cheaper to have the two entryways. Yes, you have to buy the two x-ray machines and the two metal detectors, but when you figure out what it would cost to do the construction, to build a handicap accessible a ramp, you'd have to come all the way around the Corbin building and down to the front. It outweighed it, and so that's why we're looking at two. And we understand that the needs assessment that is being done currently, that's going to take some time. I think you said the other day, August or September, we should be getting something back from them.
Yeah.
But we wanted to explain to you to make sure that you understood that was something that we looked at already. The three priorities that we had was the safety of everybody that enters this courthouse, no matter what they're doing in this courthouse. And the second thing that was the most important to us was to make sure that the employees that are housed in this facility or this courthouse that are providing the services to the general public, we wanted to do something to ensure their safety. And then thirdly is to make sure that the general public that's utilizing these services are safe. And a number that we threw out the other day too, to let you know, that's a real surprise, is 20,000 people utilize our court system here in this courthouse in a year. That's just our court system. That doesn't include people that are coming into the mapping department or the tax office. 20,000 people just in the court system.
See, now, the other day when we talked, the door down there and coming off the street, it's no longer right.
Both doors.
What's the bottom of that?
You're talking about the one at the clerk of court's office that's
Yes.
right out here between the Cowart building? That goes away.
That
The
goes away.
access you'll have into this building is back here. And then you'll have down there at the clerk of court's office that reach out to Main Street and also out to the old People's Store. You'll have those two entrances. You'll have this. The only entrance that we're going to be eliminating is the one right out here down there by the clerk of court's office.
I think we determined, Sheriff, at our work session that this is top priority for right now. I think there's no doubt about it. So whatever we need to do to get the formal bids, and how long will that take, and what's the turnaround, and
It'll be formal bid. We'll be looking at the March meeting to get that turned around.
we got companies, Sheriff,
Judge?
Judge, we have other companies we can reach out to. I don't know, this is Point Security. I'm sure there's other folks that, but these are fairly local.
We're gonna need to come up with specifications that are probably manufacturer neutral unless we have a reason to specify a specific manufacturer.
How we actually found these companies for the x-ray machine is by visiting the surrounding counties that were utilizing such courthouse security equipment, and that's how we were able to reach out to those people to find, because we wanted to find out from those agencies that were using that equipment, that it was equipment that that they found useful, that they found that was equipment that was upholding to what their needs were, and any changes that they would want to make. And so that's why we reached out to them.
And of course, the reason the best equipment is very important is if that equipment should fail and something does get by that, then the liability comes straight to the county.
Yeah.
So.
Starts with me.
That's right. So whatever we need to do to keep it moving, Mr. Chairman, is my thought.
The equipment that we currently have is 2001 equipment that you see up in the courthouse now, and there's issues with that I'm not going to speak about here publicly, but it's my recommendation and the judge's recommendation that we don't utilize that equipment.
We worked on it.
I agree with that, Commissioner Bill. I think this is imperative. I sat through the majority of these meetings, not all of them, but I understand full well your point of views.
This room was
I
full
think
of
we
people.
move forward. That's correct. Is there any questions? I think we need probably a motion to put this out to bid. Correct, Chester?
And advertise it.
Advertise it.
I'll make a motion that we make formally bid for courthouse security proposal as authorized by the sheriff and Judge Cowart, and give the county manager and county attorney instructions to proceed on with getting formal bids for the equipment as needed.
We're going to try and have this for our March meeting?
Yes, sir.
There, okay. We get a second, motion by Commissioner Bill.
I'll second.
Got a second by Commissioner Shields. Discussion? Anyone? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We need those generic specs ASAP
Yeah,
to get this ball rolling.
We've got to
Okay.
have them yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, we're used to y'all saying that.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is if we get them tomorrow, we can, well, no, we can't even
Do you
get
not
it
already
in
have
Friday. It'll be
No.
next Wednesday before it could be
Could even be
advertised.
a
soon.
paper.
I've got these specs.
He's got to advertise.
That's
Hey,
good enough,
Robbie.
make them generic.
Robbie,
Move it on.
I want to see if anybody's on state contract too. That'll,
That's you do that?
I'll do that.
Well,
Good
we
job.
can also check those, we can
Gotta
check
get it.
those, buying pools
Yeah.
Yes,
as well.
there's
I
other
mean, it's
options.
a great option to speed it up.
Yeah.
Now, I
Relax.
understand, Sheriff, that along with that, just so the board will know, that there's a back page that's supposedly adding surveillance cameras at the metal detectors and scanning units, door alarms, computer equipment on the second and third floor.
Correct.
We want to make sure that's really important, that just
Absolutely.
for the meetings I attended, and hits to provide all ports of entry switches, network program, and network infrastructure. So
Is that
I
included
understand
in
this
your
is all
numbers?
included.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's all on this
Mr.
page.
Chairman,
It's all one package.
the county is, by way of interlocal agreements, members of some buying arrangements. And would you want the county to look at those as well as advertising?
Absolutely.
This, right over here will take care of that.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thanks, Judge.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you all.
All right, item 10D, resolution exempting architectural services for Macon Middle School. Chester, I presume that's?
Yes. Grab my little file here.
While Chester is getting that, I would like to say that I did reach out to Mosley Architects, who, as we have discussed, is currently here providing some architectural services for Macon County. Got their proposal back. They were about $750 higher than the Novus proposal, and the turnaround time was about an additional 5 weeks. I think they had an 8-week turnaround time, whereas Novus here in this proposal is giving you a 4-week turnaround time. So with that being said, that is the reasoning. Did receive that other proposal from Mosley, as we had discussed at Thursday's meeting, and it was apples to apples. Novus had the faster turnaround time and the lower price to look at the conditions assessment for the Macon Middle School.
Mr. Manager, have you compared this one? I don't think me and Ms. Shields have had a chance as liaisons to compare this Novus scope of work to the previous, to the original?
This includes the revisions that the board had instructed.
So this includes what we talked about
Yes.
as the liaison committee, everything?
And just to double check that and to make sure, I will again send them a copy and just get them to verify via email that is the case before signing the agreement, if that's the direction.
Ms. Shields can correct me, I think we added 4 things from the original, and they didn't list them per se on here, but
Right.
that don't mean it's not included.
Right. I will confirm that and be sure that those things are included in it.
I was gonna say, the document that was provided to me, the only changes made to it from what was presented to the county last February were changes that I've requested, and there were technical requests.
From the school I'm talking about, from the actual work.
Yeah, there were no changes to my knowledge, at least from the February of 2018 proposal.
When I spoke with Ms. Kite on the phone, she had received my follow-up email that included the new list.
So she saw it.
So she has saw it, but I will get confirmation that it is included in this proposal before we move forward.
And if you're gonna approve the proposal, I think it would be appropriate that if what you're expecting to be in it is not in it, that you authorize myself and Derek to secure those changes.
We will.
Before
Well,
executing.
there was a few, it wasn't major, I don't think
Right.
anything major, but make sure everything.
We will be sure
It's a
those are-
one-shot deal, so.
Those are in there and secured. If there's any change in the price, I will email that
You okay with
to
it?
the board.
Liaison, you wanna make a motion
So,
on that?
as
Well, before
liaison
we do
to,
that,
You wanna
you first
do
need
the
to
resolution?
address this resolution. As you know,
Oh.
the general statutes basically say that we've got to put out for requests for proposals any of our needs for architectural services unless we exempt a project that has a cost of $50,000 or less in writing. This particular project will have a cost less than $50,000, and there's a need to proceed with it just as quickly as possible. There's already been dialogue with Novus. They know what the general project is, and they have provided a proposal for doing the project. Derek, if I'm not correct, 22,000. So it meets the criteria for the exemption. This resolution that I provided to each of you would
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we pass the resolution exempting architectural services project for the existing building conditions assessment for the Macon County Middle Grade School from the provisions of Article 3D of Chapter 143 of the North Carolina General Statute.
We have a motion by Commissioner Bill.
Liaison, I second it.
We have a second by Commissioner Shields. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Now,
All right.
the next motion, Mr. Chairman, will be a resolution,
Gonna be agreement.
for Novus Architecture.
Agreement. with-
Agreement, for the existing building conditions assessment to be done by Novus Architects, with the caveat that if anything new, is to be added, to this contract, given the county manager and our county attorney, full authority to negotiate those, at a reasonable cost.
And we-
Technical legal entity's name is Novus BEW Asheville PLLC. There's several different Novuses, and this is the one that we would be contracting for.
All right, we have a
We
motion
also-
by Commissioner Bill with the noted change of name and
We need a budget amendment for the $22,000, so.
After it's passed. Now you put that
Technically,
include
before
in
it's
the motion?
passed.
You want me to include it in
Yeah.
the motion?
Executed.
Before it's executed, yeah.
And
just put it as
included
part
in
of
that
the
motion is a budget amendment to pay for the services.
Contingency or fund balance?
Huh? Fund
Contingents-
balance.
Fund balance, okay.
got all this?
Got it.
All right, thank you. All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Bill with the two noted changes.
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Shields. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. All right, moving along to new business. Item 11A, state funding for the community paramedic program. Warren Cave, Emergency Management Director. Welcome, Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually don't want money tonight. A couple weeks ago, the Department of Health and Human Services Office of EMS contacted our agency and notified us of a funding opportunity for existing community paramedic programs that had a post-overdose response program. And we do have one of those programs with our agency. And in a nutshell, what that program is any patient that we contact in the back of an ambulance that has had to have either naloxone or more commonly known as Narcan administered for an overdose, within 24 to 48 hours of that patient exposure, they are referred to the community paramedic program, and the community paramedics will reach out to those folks in addition to, along with a peer support specialist or a behavioral health specialist, to follow up with them to make sure that the care that they have had is okay, that we attempt to keep them well, and to try and make sure that they don't have some sort of a relapse. So it's basically a follow-up program for those folks to try and maintain their health. So we submitted some information about our program to these folks, and they've offered us some funding in the amount of $20,000 over a period of about 6 months. We currently operate this program 5 days a week. During that 5 days a week, we use our existing staff. We don't hire any new staff. We use our existing staff. We backfill them with part-time staff. And during that 5 days, we do what you would consider normal integrated health care community paramedicine programs, where we try to keep folks from being readmits to medical facilities when they're discharged, to try and deal with the folks that kind of fall through the cracks that are out of a medical facility but aren't really into a palliative care type environment, and to try and just maintain the health of those folks. And we do the post-overdose program, and we also do the behavioral health emergencies. We've got folks trained in all of those 3 different avenues. So essentially this funding opportunity would cover that program 2 days a week, along with the vehicle expenses, mileage expenses, and there's some printing expenses in there for some literature that we distribute to those folks to help maintain their education. We're not expanding our program. It basically covers 2 of the days that we're already doing. We're not asking for new staff, but it'll basically help us meet our budgetary needs throughout the year. And if you approve this request, there is a budget amendment that will be in your consent agenda to cover the budget amendment to follow.
What Warren did not say, Mr. Chairman, is that this program is not, it's groundbreaking for this area and mostly for our state. There's not many programs like this. Warren and his folks do an excellent job. We see the involuntary commitments are down at the hospital. We think this plays a huge role in that. We think No Wrong Door is going to play a huge role in helping Warren and his folks. Joy Gibson does a wonderful job, to name one of many, Warren. So the initial funding, of course, Evergreen helped us with the initial funding for this program. So it's just an outstanding program. It saves the taxpayer dollars many times over in a lot of ways. And so what do you need a motion, Warren, for that?
Yes, sir, to accept the funding.
I'd make a motion to accept the free money, Mr. Chairman.
We got a motion by Commissioner Bill. We got a second by Commissioner Shields. Let me just say, Warren, I just like Commissioner Bill, I can't say enough. I think it's been, from my understanding, just a resounding success, and thanks to your leadership for that program.
We have a lot of really good folks. They go through some special training on how to deal with these patients. At any given time, we have between 30 and 45 patients enrolled in the program. Some of them will stay 2 days, and then they what we call graduate out. We have some folks that are there for months at a time. So when you ask me numbers, the numbers are very fluid. They change from day to day. So, but I appreciate that, and I'll pass that on to these folks.
Great, thank you.
What about the weekends?
We currently are not staffed on the weekends. We're only staffed, we staff this program 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And a lot of that has to do with most of our referrals are discharges from medical facilities or referrals from what you would consider a typical medical facility. So therefore, most of those come Monday through Friday. And typically, the responses that we deal with, the time frame from a Friday afternoon to a Monday morning, it's a little different from the emergency part of the medicine. the 2 days is not a deal breaker on most of these folks to maintain their health. So we're still okay doing Monday through Friday.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good
Thank
job,
you.
Warren.
Thank you, Warren.
Thank you, Warren.
All right, item 11B, resolution declaring surplus property and approval of a 9-month lease to Teco SSL Incorporated.
Mr. Chairman, probably that matter, the resolution as well as the approval of the lease should probably be considered simultaneously. Those documents are before you. In fact, you had the resolution and the lease as part and parcel of your agenda package. What was missing from the actual lease document is this page right here that shows the actual lease area.
Okay.
It's the yellow portion. That has, a copy of that's been provided to you.
Can you give us a little background info?
Oh, I thought Chester was going
Yeah.
to. Okay,
I'm
no,
happy
I'm
to
just,
do that.
I'm just kidding.
Either one.
No, as you know, earlier in November, that we leased Tico a space in the Business Development Center for their design and manufacture of LEDs, lighting systems for testing new automobiles for paint defects. They've decided they were located and had their main office in Paris, Kentucky, but they've decided that they'd like to put their office operation down here. And we have the space available in the front offices of the Business Development Center. With your approval, we can set them up shop in there. Probably be one person, office manager, to start out with.
Can we get a motion for the resolution declaring surplus property and the approval of the lease?
Make a motion to be approved as presented.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner Shields,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bill, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thanks, Tommy.
Tommy, you want to speak to the, while you're there, Mr. Chairman, can he go ahead and
Yep.
speak to the Niquosi Initiative?
That's item 9C1.
This point, Mr. Chairman, the Niquosi Initiative, of course, is the ongoing awareness of the Cherokee Culture Corridor between Macon and Swain counties. They manage the corridor project with multiple partners, those being the county being one, the town of Franklin, the Eastern Band, Mainspring, the Callier School Arts and Heritage Center, and the Museum of the Cherokee Indian. Now, there were several accomplishments in 18. We won't list those, but the plans for this year, I think the biggest plan, if you remember where Dan's old auto parts was, at the foot of Town Hill, the Eastern Band does plan on making that a museum, which is very much part of our heritage. So I think, Tom, if you want to pick it up from there, go ahead.
Yeah, the Niquosi Initiative was started in 2016. Basically, it was, the original thought was to build relationships between Eastern Band and the communities around, specifically Macon and Swain, along the, what they call the Niquosi Corridor, which is from South Macon up into Swain County. That has historical significance not only for the Eastern Band, but also for the citizens, and very historical site there. As Ronnie mentioned, there's several partners in it, and since 2016, the funds that you all have been gracious enough to appropriate before in the town and the tribe have leveraged over $300,000 in capital funds and other improvement funds throughout the corridor. That does not include the purchase of Dan's Auto by the Eastern Band. So basically, the relationships built from the Niquosi Initiative helped move that project along to where it's finally going to see fruition. They're now doing their business plan and moving forward with what the building's going to look like in that whole general area, working with other partners in East Franklin down by the river. So basically, what I'm here to ask this evening is for y'all to appropriate $12,500 from economic development reserves to go towards continuing that mission and go towards administrative costs for the coming year.
That is our portion, Mr. Chairman, with our partners. It has been very lucrative for a lot of reasons. The relationship with Eastern Band is very important, as we've found out over the years. And so this is our portion of that. There will be no change in the budget. This will come out of the, as Tommy said, out of his fund balance for economic development.
So a motion?
Yes, sir, that is a motion. We would take the funds, $12,500, to support the Nequashit initiative. Those funds are be taken from the EDC general fund.
Reserve fund.
That's right.
All right. We have a motion by Commissioner Bill.
Second it.
Got a second by Commissioner Shields. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
General fund.
Thank you, sir.
Not
Thank
the
you.
general fund.
Not
The
the
EDC
reserve
fund.
fund.
EDC reserve
It's
fund.
Tommy's reserve fund that was happening.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you, Tom.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, Tom. All right, item 11D, request to add 2 child welfare positions during fiscal year 18-19. Patrick Betancourt, Director of Social Services.
Thank you, Mr.
Welcome,
Chairman.
Patrick.
I've been remiss in the past couple of times that I've been up before you that I didn't recognize my board chair, Lisa Leatherman. She's here again tonight to lend support to the department. So
person.
thank you, Lisa, for showing up. This is a request to add 2 positions. The request is based on 3 occurring issues that we have at the moment. Significant workload demands for our child welfare staff, ever increasing case complexity that these staff are dealing with, and the third being overcoming the, I'll be polite and call them inefficiencies of the current case management system that child welfare is having to work in, that we've been a pilot for the past year now. It's been about probably 6 years since we've been before you to ask for any child welfare positions on the child protective services side of child welfare. At this time, our current CPS workers are carrying a caseload of about 20 cases each. That fluctuates from day to day, depending on how many new reports come in. But that's well over the 15 caseload recommendation from the state. This commission did.
That's just this county.
That's just in this county alone. They are just in this county alone. Just to give you an idea of where we've come from since the last time we added a position in CPS. Back in 11 and 12, we were taking somewhere in the neighborhood of about 459 reports a year. We're now up to about 630 reports. It's a 37% increase. At that time, we were doing around 220 investigations. We're now up to 331. We've taken 32 children into custody this past fiscal year, compared to the 11 that were taken into custody back in state fiscal year 12. So we've seen an increase across the board in almost every area of child welfare. We currently have, we do have some money in our budget for these positions. If we assume a start date for these positions of April 1st, the 2 positions would cost $28,765. We could expect roughly about $4,000 of reimbursement from the state for those positions. That's for this state fiscal year only. The case complexity you've heard me speak about before, we're seeing cases now somewhere in the neighborhood of about 85 to 90% of the cases that our child welfare staff work involve some form of substance abuse. They almost always, if they have substance use going on, they also involve some pretty significant mental health needs. Both parents as well as children have those mental health ongoing needs. And in almost every single case we work, there is some type of family violence. So the need for intervention in these families' lives is great. It's not short term, and it's fairly intense. North Carolina is experiencing what we refer to as a child welfare workforce crisis. So there are directors across the state that are standing up in front of their commissions asking for the exact same thing, explaining the exact same issues, that these cases are very difficult, they're very long-term lasting, and they are burning our staff out at a tremendous rate. I explained when I spoke with our liaison about this a couple of weeks ago, explained that at current Macon County Department of Social Services is looking that we could lose somewhere in the neighborhood of about 3 of our child welfare staff. They have made it known that they are feeling a little fried, a little burned out on what they're doing. So we would like to be able to get them some relief. We hope that these positions would be approved, and I can talk a little while about the inefficiencies of the case management system, but I don't want to dwell on that aspect. I'll just leave it with you to say that it's the same system we implemented for economic services back in 07, and it's a decent system for managing eligibility determination for Medicaid and F&S benefits. It is not designed as a case management for child welfare. You're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. And so there's been a pretty large amount of frustration and increased demands for workload as a result of this case management system. So it would be our request that we would be able to advertise for these positions.
So Patrick, let me wrap my head back around it.
Sure.
You've got 2 positions now, and so you're going to be doubling.
No, we currently have 5 CPS positions and 4 foster care positions. So we have a total of 9 social
You
workers.
said they're handling roughly 20 cases each.
20 cases
And they
each,
should be
correct.
handling productively 15. So
right.
that's how you're coming up with your 2 positions based upon
Yes.
that 5 times 5 is 25, which I think that makes sense. So numbers wise. Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, this is also, I'm the liaison to the DSS, and the reason this is so important is twofold. Number one, we're talking about children in Macon County, number one. The most at-risk children you could possibly imagine. And talking with Mr. Betancourt, and you go meet with these folks that do this every day, there's not many thank yous come their way. You hear them say that we have possibility of 3 leaving. And we would hope that with the addition of these new folks, that would give them some relief, if you will, that they would continue to stay on. I'm not so sure any of us sitting around this table can do the job that they do. If you see what they do